Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Michael McCarville, and this is Fun with Fallen Flags, episode 66, Scratch Built Coal Bin. We are going to build something that sat alongside the maintenance tracks for steam engines, and they would use it for storing coal. And typically it would be a smaller railroad that this was used in because it would have been very manual in labor. So anyway, this is a novice project that really, if you were interested in building something from scratch, this would be a really good project to begin with. It's really not difficult at all, and the weathering is really pretty simple. So let's get to it. The structure that I created was a structure that is 12 feet by 44 feet in size in HO scale. So you can adjust it if you need to for a larger or smaller scale, but this one is built in HO scale. The material that you see here on the diagram, the upper left hand material, that is, and all this is scale dimensional lumber. So that's 12-inch by 12-inch beams, and they're 12 feet long. The stuff to the right is Northeastern Scale Models 1/16 inch scribed decking material. It's a 1/32 inch thick, so it's fairly thin. Um, the rest of the material is 6-inch by 12-inch stringers, and those are the long boards on the lower right. There will also be 8 by 8-inch posts that go up around the outside, and then 2-inch by 12-inch wall planks that will go on the inside of those posts, and that'll form the bin. So for weathering, we're going to use 91% isopropyl alcohol and India ink. You can kind of go with your own what feels right, but I tend to go with a 10-to-1 mixture, and even that may be too strong. Always go a little thinner because you can always add subsequent layers on it and darken it as you need to. And you can certainly darken it in certain areas like on the decking where the coal is going to sit, but the outside walls isn't going to get quite as much exposure. So that can be maybe just a single coat. But again, test it on a piece of scrap material of the material that you're actually using. So um, there's notes that I'm going to include on the body of this, and if you have any questions, you can refer back to that. You don't have to go back and find the exact point in the video. It also is going to have links to the YouTube channel, which if you're interested in videos like this, subscribe and click the bell icon for updates. There's a Facebook group, HO Scale Tutorials, that I manage, and then I have a Patreon site if you're interested in helping me out in the future. Um, so let's go ahead and get started and begin the construction. So for simplicity's sake, I built the base deck first, and then I built the bin around it on the outside later. But you can certainly cut all the material in advance and then weather it at the same time. But I just wanted to get the deck nice and solid before I moved on. So what you see here is just the solution of alcohol and India ink in that upper bin. I use the same paintbrush that I do all my weathering washes of this type of solution. I have a dedicated paintbrush for that, and it's going to have India ink in it, so you probably don't want to use it on anything else. And you can see that I've just laid out the pieces after I've given it the first coat. The decking's on the right, and then the 12 by 12 footers and the stringers are on the left. So that's the first coat, and that's what they look like. It kind of gives it a look of driftwood. So it will get darker, and the decking material is definitely going to get additional coats. I think by the time I was done with this, it actually got 3 coats. So that's essentially the weathering for the base deck pieces, and then we'll go ahead and assemble that and take a look at what it looks like. Okay, with the material given a stain, what we have here is the decking material is flipped over, and we're putting the the stringers, the joists on the bottom side of it, and the material that you saw in the original picture that had the little blocks, you can see and that I'm actually using them here. Their scale 18 inches by 18 inches square 8HO, and they give me an 18-inch spacing between each of the joists. So I glue the outside ones on first, get a nice solid deck, solid platform to glue the other ones on, and then I use the spacers, and you can see I'm using 4 at a time. Glue the next one on, clamp it down, let it dry, move the spacers in, put another joist on. So, and I work from the outside in. I want nice straight edges on the outside. Just work your way in until you get to the center one. If you need to fudge a little bit, you can certainly do that, but you do have the spacers to kind of play around with. What we're going for is nice parallel runs. The bad part of this is you're not going to see much of this detail unless you turn this into a raised platform or a bridge or something like that. But we're going to use this as a coiling platform. I just wanted a nice, good, solid looking base, and I wanted the ends to be parallel so that when I got so that the gaps were the same 18 inches all the way down as I went. If you wanted to do a shortcut on this, you could glue the outside ones in, and then you could just use scraps and little pieces on the inside, and you wouldn't have to necessarily go all the way down. But it's going to make it easier to mount onto a surface if the whole thing is a uniform, platform underneath. So anyway, I just like it that it's nice solid construction too. So that's essentially putting that together, and then once that's done, the base deck is basically complete. All we have left to do is add the posts that go around the upper side, and then we add some planks that go around the inside of that. I mean, it's really fairly simple construction, but let me show you what it looks like with the posts and the planks that create the bin. Okay, so you'll notice that the bin has been created, but the front wall, even though it's been heavily stained, is missing a board, which kind of shows that it's even gotten a little bit more wear on it. I also kind of went through, it doesn't really show very well in this photo, but I went through and I sanded and kind of carved a little bit off the very front board, the one that's below the missing one, just to give it a little bit of look of wear on it, and it got a little bit extra weathering on that side too. I chose to line up the posts that are running down the perimeter of this. I chose to line those up so that they mount not just down the front side, but also line up with one of the sill plates, the main supports on the very base of it. So you have this nice consistency of where the posts are and where the pieces are that are going to sit on the ground. It may never be seen and you may not notice it, but you will see it from the sides a little bit, and it just not only does it look better, but it also makes it easier to construct too. Okay, so this is a view from the back. You'll notice that the front wall has got a lot more of an India ink wash on it than the back wall does. The back wall is essentially a single coat, and the front wall is about 3 coats, and then the decking on the inside is also about 3 coats. This also gives you a little bit better view of the wear and tear and also the missing board that's on the front wall, with the posts that are still at the same height with the rest of it. So this is not a difficult project, especially if you build it and just take your time. I tend to build stuff on a grid like this so I can ensure that everything's nice and square. You don't need that, but you should use some sort of mechanism to square it up anyway. If you want to do a little more detail on it, you could certainly add some bolt heads to it. You could have a few boards missing. You could have a little bit of damage here and there. It wouldn't be hard. I mean, all we did is build this out of basswood, so it's pretty flexible on what we can do to it. But that's it. It's a simple project, and it's going to look fantastic next to the track. It's just the first. We're going to do a series of these. So if you're interested in doing this one and you want some other ideas, check out the channel and don't hesitate to challenge yourself and push a little bit and get this going. If you're an advanced modeler, I got a bunch of these planned, and I'm going to just add a little more complexity as I go to each one of these. So I already have the base decks done for a couple of them. So check out the HO Scale Tutorials Facebook group that's in the description in the notes to this video. Check out the YouTube channel, subscribe there, click the bell icon so you can get updates. And other than that, that's it for this project. Pretty simple, and we'll go ahead and we'll step it up a little bit on the next one. So appreciate you guys watching, and good luck.